Welcome to the Player 4 podcast. I'm Haley, also known as Hazel. No, Hales.
You screwed your own name.
So we've got a rename on there. I should message
rename.
Caleb, get him to change your name.
I guess it's gotta be a thing now. It's gonna be Hayzel. Hazel.
Hazel.
I'm Tristan, also known as Shugrazir.
My name is Alex, aka Chaos Black 21.
AKA Caboose.
A.K.A. Black Alex. And I'm Joseph, a.k.a. The Dude and Steambeard, but on Rooster Teeth, I'm actually just Jay Dunlap.
Boring.
But then again, at least he remembers his. God.
Unlike somebody I could mention.
Shut up, Hazel.
Okay, dyslexia is a terrible thing. All right, dyslexia.
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 Hey, untie.
What?
Can we call you Sister Hazel from now on?
Sister Hazel, no, for I am not a nun. I cannot bless you, and God forbid, God, I love you, but I can't be a nun.
It's also a band.
Oh. I don't know that band.
Tristan, what is our opening segment?
And another thing.
And another thing. And this is the segment where each of us gets up to 60 seconds to talk about something from a previous podcast that we forgot to say, or thought of something since then, or maybe got a fan correction. Who would like to start?
Well, I would like to say that for the Marvel thing that I was mentioning last week, I think I said it was Captain Marvel that that TV show was going to be. I totally remembered this after the podcast. It was Supergirl. Sorry. It was completely the wrong thing. Sorry. I don't know why.
Supergirl, okay.
I don't know why. I was looking, because I had been talking about Captain Marvel, all day, and it just out of my mouth.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, it happens.
Probably keep that in your mouth.
Word vomit. It just comes out.
Alex, Tristan, did you guys have anything?
I was pretty happy with last week, other than, not having a date on Valentine's Day.
Oh.
What did I do on Valentine's
Don't
Day?
bring down the podcast.
Too late. It's brought down. It's been brunged.
Brunged.
Brunged. It's done been
another
brunged, bro.
And another
It's
thing.
on.
Terrible grammar English.
I have something for and another thing. First off, Tristan, I have a fan correction for you. The scantily clad character in Dragon Age is Morrigan.
Morrigan. Hey, I don't know. Whatever. Morgan, thank you, fan, for correcting
Yeah, I just
me.
thought I'd
You're
tell you.
awesome.
Yes,
Shoutouts to the fan.
shout out to the fan. Shout out to Megan. And then also, I was talking about Hitchhiker's Guide, and I said I couldn't remember or think of someone that could play Arthur, and I was actually wrong. The perfect actor for Arthur is Jack Davenport from Coupling and Pirates of the Caribbean.
I mean,
Good
Coupling.
Yes, Coupling. Thank you, Ray. Pirates of the
Good
Caribbean,
acting.
he's the guy that's kind of a jerk in the first movie, and then the second movie he turns into some homeless pirate dude.
Yeah, I remember him. He was, hang on.
He was
Wait for it. It's coming. It's gonna be big. And now.
Theme from Jeopardy.
Do.
I could hear the gears turning in her head.
Commodore. He was
it's
a Commodore.
my favorite movie too. Oh my god.
Go IMDb that, Jeff.
Captain Norrington.
Yes, Captain
Girl.
Norrington.
Oh, I'm so good.
In the Coupling,
he got
though, he's
upgraded
basically
to
Arthur.
Commodore.
Commodore Norrington.
He's basically Arthur in the Coupling, the British BBC show. He's in his 40s now, and that seems like an obstacle. But I mean, if John Cleese can be Zaphod, then Jack Davenport can be Arthur, and then you can just call it Hitchhiker's Guide, the old folks' home,
Everybody's
or
on
the later
dialysis.
years.
I was gonna go with the later years.
Everybody's rolling around like an air thing, and they're on dialysis.
No, they gotta be on Rascals.
Anyway, I
Hovering
think I've gone
rascals.
over my 60 seconds, so this is a great start.
Anyway, next we're going to be talking about the new games that have been coming out or have been announced. And my thing, I don't know if, I'm sure a couple of people have heard about it. I'm sure more than a couple, but Dissidia, the new Dissidia that just kind of popped up out of nowhere.
It's a lie.
I don't know if you guys have seen the new trailer for it. It's amazing. Like, the graphics are beautiful. And I'm really hoping, like, they haven't showed any actual gameplay because obviously that probably hasn't been made yet, or I don't know. They haven't put too many comments about what's happening, but I'm hoping that the gameplay is a lot better because I actually bought the only reason I ever bought a PSP, because I don't play handheld games as much anymore because I'm blind and I need a big screen, is to play Dissidia. And I have actually not liked the past two Dissidias. But this one looks amazing. Like, it looks like they've got a different scenery and maybe a different fighting style. Like, apparently, like, they said they were scrapping the fighting style and doing something totally different. And they might be adding more girl characters, which I'm hoping, because I need some of my favorite girl characters from Final Fantasy in this game. I think I saw a glimpse of Ash from 12.
Oh,
So
yeah.
maybe a little context here. Joe, do you know what Dissidia is?
Oh,
I actually don't.
Oh,
Okay,
it's,
Alex, do you know what Dissidia is?
It is some type of game that involves Final Fantasy characters joining forces to take. I saw that there's two forces, one that was Cosmos and one that was Chaos, and the Cosmos is the good side, and that's what the Final Fantasy characters are on. They're trying to take down Chaos.
No, Chaos has Final Fantasy characters on it as well.
Okay, the good
Evil.
Final Fantasy characters is on Cosmos, and the evil characters are on Chaos.
So if I
Correct.
want to fight for Cosmos, I cannot be Seymour.
Right. Seymour's actually not in the game, sadly. You actually can play as Jecht from 10, and he's on Chaos's side.
Well, that makes no sense. Jecht was a badass, not evil.
I know. I didn't really play too much on Titus and Jecht's storyline. I mostly played Squall because he's my favorite.
And wasn't in that game?
Yes, he was. Dissidia was in. Squall was in Dissidia.
Oh, I thought you were talking about FF10 now. I got all confused.
No.
You can't do this to me.
Right, but there's talk that they might be adding more girl characters. And I'm hoping, I think I saw in the trailer, I don't know, it might have been something else, but I think I saw a glimpse of Ash from Final Fantasy 12. As a lot of Final Fantasy lovers know, 12 doesn't get a lot of recognition.
I saw one screenshot today, and it had Ishtola, who was the Mikote white mage trainer from Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, they've got 14 stuff in there, too.
So that's a female, and I'm going to say that I hope you're correct, because I'm looking right now at an image of the cover of the original Dissidia Final Fantasy game, and I think I see 2 female characters, and a male character who looks like a female character, and then 9 other guys.
There are girl characters on there already. We've got Lightning, Terra.
I've got an important question here,
Yeah.
dating back to last podcast and Final Fantasy 12.
Okay,
is
so
Fran in the game?
She is not in Dissidia.
Well, that's
He's
that's
not
just
interested
terrible.
anymore.
No.
I lost a fan.
No more Dissidia for Alex.
Well, again, 12 doesn't get a lot of recognition. And I will admit, for the longest time, I didn't like 12. It's a very different story from the other Final Fantasies. It's more complex, and it takes like a higher, I'm not saying higher intellect, but it makes more sense when you're older because there's a lot of politics to it.
Yes.
So it's kind of boring when you're a kid. You're like, I just want to have a good story, which is an amazing story. Like, I didn't appreciate it until I replayed it last year, and I was like, whoa, dude, this story's amazing.
So I just wanted to point out that we never really even said what Dissidia is. It's basically a multi-game mashup fighting game where they took the heroes and the villains from the past Final Fantasy games and put them all in one world and allowed you to go multiplayer and fight each other and play through a storyline or play through a storyline.
It's not multiplayer. It's not multiplayer.
It actually is. I have an article here telling me that it is.
What?
Oh, snap.
Tristan did his research.
Wait,
It has
are you guys-
wireless,
wait.
one-on-one multiplayer fights revolving around the use of individual
when you said
special skills.
multiplayer, no, this is what I thought you said when you said multiplayer. Like, you could be 2 people on a team
I
Playing-
don't know.
No, that's co-op,
I know that.
actually.
Oh,
I know
okay,
that you can go head to head with your friends and beat them up with your favorite Final Fantasy character.
Yeah, you can go head to head.
You can do that already if you just have dolls.
It's true. Fight,
Well, that's
fight,
just
fight,
pathetic.
kiss, kiss. So
And
that was that.
If I ever get a Squall figurine, he's going up on my shelf.
And the reason it's intriguing that they're releasing another one now is because it was originally created in '08 to celebrate the 20-year anniversary of the Final Fantasy franchise. A year later, it had a sequel, which was actually a prequel because the creators of it decided that the storyline was wrapped up so nicely in the first game that they couldn't sequelize it, so they pre-sequelized it. They prequelized it. And now he said that they were really not going to make any more Dissidia games. This was in 2011, he said this. That was Tetsuya Nomura, the game's creator, said he wasn't going to make any more Dissidia games, although he does like the concept of it, so he might carry it on under a different name, the same type of story. So it's interesting that they are releasing another Dissidia game, which goes against what he told fans.
It is, yeah, again, it is very odd, especially since, like, they've been having so much trouble with Final Fantasy 15 coming out. Like, that game has been coming out for
5 years almost?
More than that. I was still in high school. I was probably a sophomore in high school when I first heard about that game, and that was when
there
it was
were
still
posters advertising it in Tokyo when I went there in 2011.
Yeah, it's been coming for a while, and then so and then Kingdom Hearts 3 as well. So they've been working on that. So they actually released something a couple of months ago when they finally were like, "Oh, it's finally coming out." And to this day, I will not believe it's coming out until it's in my freaking hand. But
I will say it may have already come out in Japan because Japan now has a history of releasing games in Japan and not in other countries when they have done, or their prequels have done poorly in other countries. Case in point, Phantasy Star. Phantasy Star Online was a game that came to America when the GameCube released and performed less well than expected. Phantasy Star Online 2, a sequel to it, never released in America, but is currently released and being played multiplayer online, massive MMO style, in Japan. Why don't we get that game? So I don't know. Whenever they say, this game is coming out, and then you stop hearing about it, my feeling goes to, they released it in their country and they're not giving it to us.
It hasn't been released yet because, like, with the Final Fantasy Type O coming out on the PlayStation, because it was originally made for the PSP and it's finally being translated into English, they're giving a demo of what Final Fantasy 15 is going to look like.
I will say they're creative with their naming and numbering schemes when they decide not to go with the direct 1, 2, 3, because I have no idea what any of these numbers mean. My favorite
absolutely nothing.
My favorite has got to be Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days.
Yeah, I have not played all the Kingdom Hearts games because I'm sorry, I'm not going to buy 8 billion different consoles. No, just no. I don't have the time. Just no.
I've only played the first two.
I've only played the first two, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
When 3 comes, I'm gonna play 3, and I mean, just like 2, I was like, well, I don't really know what happened in between. This beginning opening sequence is showing a whole bunch of stuff I've never seen, so oh well, I'll just go with it.
I remember the first time I played, because I was so excited to get it, Kingdom Hearts 2, and I get to it, and I'm like, who the heck is this kid? I was like, okay, who is this kid with the pointy hair? Where's Sora? I mean,
why am I having dreams about the main character?
Maybe they're trying to say. But yeah,
there's just no instant gratification.
But then when, like, Roxas disappears, then you're like, oh. Well, at least I was like, oh, Roxas, come back. Anyway.
What other games have come out?
Dying Light actually apparently has broken a couple of records, which is interesting because the game that prequeled it sucked. Like, it had terrible reviews, so they really.
What is the game that prequeled it?
Awesome. That was awesome.
It slipped my mind. Hang on. No, I had it. I had it earlier, and I wrote it down.
Haley
Because-
just went into slow motion
Mirror's
mode.
Edge, I think.
Grrr.
Well, so
That's what I heard. I'm looking at
no,
I'm looking at
the people who made Dying Light made Dead Island,
That's it.
and yeah, I was actually watching. I don't know if any of you heard of Zero Punctuation.
I love that situation.
Yeah, I was watching his video, and he was basically going on about him saying, "Yeah, this is basically Dead or God crap. Now I forgot the name.
Dead
Dead
Island.
Island?
Yeah,
You were halfway there, man.
This is Dead Island, but it's better, but still like it's a better game. I enjoy playing it more, but
not as good
it's
as
still
the
not. Yeah, it's still not there yet. He was like, "Well, this is good if you like Dead Island and you thought you would like it even more if it wasn't complete crap, then this is it."
Yeah,
the game for
apparently
you.
it broke some Survivor horror game records, but I don't think it's broken too many because I feel like Last of Us probably broke the most Survivor.
I think Last of Us blew the genre out of the water, but I never actually played it.
Last
Oh
of
my
Us
God.
blew the genre, but the one thing that hurt it could have done even more if it was multi-platform. Obviously, it was a Sony product, though. So,
Right. Well,
it's-
Naughty Dog is always just
Yeah.
PlayStation.
They
I
have those
love
exclusive
Naughty Dog.
deals, man.
Hey, Naughty Dog is like one of my favorite like game creators. I love the Jack and Daxter series. Oh, that's like one of my favorite video game series. Like, don't even get me started.
Naughty Dog.
And I actually I heard a fun fact. It was from the Rooster Teeth, like 5 fun facts. Last of Us originally started as another Jack and Daxter sequel.
really?
If they were going to do another game, and then they ended up just going with a totally different like game. Yeah, isn't that cool? I'm really upset because I would love another Jack and Daxter game, but they're not going to do it, and that makes me sad.
Aw. It's not by Naughty Dog, but I like the Ratchet and Clank series.
I thought that was not.
Was it Naughty Dog?
I think that is Naughty Dog. Ratchet and Clank, yeah.
Well, I love Ratchet and Clank. That was probably my favorite PlayStation series before I stopped at PS2.
See, I'm a PlayStation girl.
I don't have a problem with PlayStation. I like Xbox a little bit more with multiplayer and obviously because of Halo.
Ratchet and
I mean,
Clank was developed by Insomniac Games.
Oh,
There you go, Insomniac.
It has the same like look, like so. I just figured, but yeah. I mean, I have nothing against Xbox. I like it. I've just always stuck with PlayStation. I mean, I'll be getting an Xbox One very soon, so I'll let everybody have my gamer tag once I get one.
Ew.
Whoa!
You're gonna let them have a
Cooties.
disease. Cooties.
Not touching it.
It's spreading.
You guys
Have-
suck.
Oh my god, it's
Have you gotten the
spreading.
hazel yet? I caught
Circle,
the
circle,
hazel.
dot, dot. Now I have my hazel shot.
Well, be careful because it's going to be like that cordyceps stuff in Last of Us, and your your brain's going to blow up like a fungus.
Blaine's gonna blow up.
Like a
Shut up.
Don't blow up
Would
Blaine.
Would this
Words
be,
are
wait,
hard.
would
We
this be
love Blaine.
Ryan's fungus?
You're just
Pubert?
all fungi. You're fun guys.
So why don't we move on to Alex's topic?
So the Halo 5 beta, it was just multiplayer,
Put me in the
no
helmet.
no story. It had a little different feel to the other Halos. I think it was a little bit faster paced, but at the same time, it still had that kind of patience, that slow stuff that you need, that you feel with the Halo compared to other shooters where it's just like, oh, I see you shot dead. It's still the whole, if someone runs behind cover, if you chase them, you're probably going to end up getting killed. But they added a sprint function to it. It's not just like, it's not a specific ability that you have now. You can actually sprint around. You can zoom in with the weapons. You can aim down sights. Even with the assault rifle, you can aim down the sights with it, which is what is making people think it's a little more Call of Duty-esque and starting to turn people off. But due to the slowness of the game, I don't ever see Halo becoming Call of Duty.
Well, we talked briefly in the past that I thought that the zooming in was a lot like Mass Effect, And then you disagreed.
Yes, because Mass Effect's a third-person shooter and Halo is a first-person shooter.
So the zoom in works differently. So wouldn't you compare Halo 5 zoom in to Destiny then?
Yes. Yeah, I think I remember seeing them actually aim down sights, going from third person to aim down sights. So it's somewhat similar. Halo's somewhat similar to that. Actually, Halo's beginning and ending screens, I think, are similar to Destiny in that it shows the team, like if you win, it shows the team like kind of celebrating together at the end, which is kind of what Destiny does, at least at the beginning, where when you land, it shows the team all setting up and getting prepared. So
when do they celebrate? Do they teabag the other team?
No, but like if it was like a team of 4, 2 people, like it would show 2 Spartans maybe patting each other on the back and 2 of the others giving poses and whatnot. And they added a jetpack too. That was another major thing, was they added a jetpack, which once again people are like, oh, Call of Duty, the new Call of Duty has a jetpack on it. It's like Halo seems more.
Halo had jetpacks first. It had jetpacks in Reach.
Yeah, if you added it. But this one, actually, it's automatic. Like, you could do it. You can slide. Yeah, you can use the jetpack to slide and stuff. So,
well, there were 2 different jetpacks in Reach. One drove you straight forward, or forward in a curve kind of thing. It was like a dash around. The other one was like a straight up, I'm going to launch off and go up to that higher platform jetpack.
Well, this one is kind of a combination of both.
Both?
Like an
Both?
ass.
Both. So, I mean, I could see them like that they're taking some ideas from other stuff, but they're still like making it a Halo game. They're not trying to really change it to something different. It's still basically the same thing.
I can understand the arguments of the players just because that's a mechanics change. Suddenly, you know, Halo, when you compared the 2 games and you said, why do I like Halo or why do I like Call of Duty? The main difference, you know, when you said, I like both, and you say, because I like them for different reasons, Halo was just this more simplified shooter. You weren't worried about aiming unless you had, like, a marksman rifle. Everything else was kind of a spray and pray weapon. You just sort of ran around and shot bullets from the hip. Whereas Call of Duty was all about, okay, drop into position, you know, get your, you know, aim down your sight. Are you using the iron sights? Are you using optics? You know, how are you aiming and how well are you aiming and how well are you tracking your target? You know, and, you know, can you get them in 1 bullet? Is it going to take 2 bullets? You know, it was always this very mechanical system. Whereas Halo was like, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to hold the right trigger down. If I want to press the left trigger, it's because I want to blow someone up.
If you're using an assault rifle, the pistol you could still aim down sights. The deadliest pistol in all of gaming.
History of gaming. Yeah, it was a Magnum pistol with explosive shells and a 2x magnifying scope and a 14-round clip. Because of course. Why not? Why not? But I mean, still, it worked on the mechanics of it has a scope. So you either had in Halo, you either had weapons that had a scope or weapons that didn't have a scope.
But you're still not getting that variability where you can customize like all that stuff in Halo. That's still a COD thing. You're not customizing that much.
I'm not saying they're
Halo.
stealing the whole system. I'm just saying that taking that mechanic of now your left trigger instead of throwing a grenade is tightening
aiming
your
down
aim.
sights.
You're aiming down sight. Now it's like you're not picking up the assault rifle because you can spray, 60 rounds at somebody in, 3.8 seconds. You're picking up the assault rifle, and now you're actually trying to get your tight bursts off. Now the assault rifle can do the job of the battle rifle. Why does the battle rifle exist if you can aim as tightly with the assault rifle as you could with the battle rifle?
Reminds me of how I used the assault rifle in Mass Effect 3 when you could put sights on them. I had it to, I think, a 10 times scope, and that's all I carried, because then I could have no cooldown on the explosive shot.
But the whole thing about like people complaining that it's changing the way the game is set up and plays is they're basically stuck in a catch-22, because if they didn't change anything and they released a game, people would be like, well, this is the same exact game as the last time. Yet if they change stuff, then they're like, oh, well, they changed it, so now I don't like it.
And I think you're exactly right when you say it's a catch-22, and they had to make a decision. Do we stagnate, or do we change things? Either way, we're going to lose some fans, and either way, we're going to gain fans or keep the fans we had.
I'd like to make an argument in favor of change, but not in favor of change for the sake of change, in that sometimes story dictates the changes.
We haven't gotten to experience the story yet, so we can't even go down that road.
Yeah, I was going to say, we don't know the story yet, so we don't know the story reasons for making those changes, but we do know that in Halo Reach, when they added in the different specs and the different abilities, that was because you were playing as Spartans in the storyline, that they were all focused on different jobs, and so maybe we'll find out that the Halo 5 storyline dictates that you need to have sprint and you need to have all these things in the campaign as part of the story.
What I loved back when Halo Reach released, actually, was the debates you could have with the fandom. Because you're saying, okay, when you play Halo Reach, you're playing now a game that chronologically takes place before the first game in the series. Because it's the lead-up to that first game in the series. So then you had the set of fans going, hey, I'm glad that you added all this cool stuff to make the game new and different and better, but why isn't chronologically an earlier time period more advanced than the game? Halo 2 didn't even have, Halo 3 didn't have stuff like this. They started to get it. It's like, what is Reach like?
I would like to address that. I would like to argue that the reason story-wise that Halo 1 through 3 is a little bit more rudimentary is because that's the way Master Chief is.
I agree with that.
He's a little bit more brute force. He's very intelligent. He's a leader. But by himself, he'll just spray bullets till things are dead.
That's why I like him in the stories better. They go really into how he thinks out his missions, how he strategizes. But that's not actually where I was going with that. It was about how come there are all these armor upgrades. How come I can get a jetpack or invisibility or you know, a scanning thing for my visor in Halo Reach, something that takes place before the other games, and these upgrades aren't available to me in the other game? You know, why do I have more advanced armor technology in Halo Reach than I did in Halo 1, 2, or even 3? And there were people would debate this, and my favorite argument is probably what a lot of people have begun to accept, is that, well, Reach, the planet, was the center of ONI's research, you know, military research facility. That entire planet was devoted to nothing but developing weapons and researching every bit of old technology, new technology, and ancient alien races that they could find to develop stuff. And everything on it was lost. So they took what they could into Halo 1 and 2, but all that cool stuff that you get to use in Halo Reach never made it to the other games because of the fall of Reach. I did like how, you know, between Halos 1 and 2, he gets to stop back at Earth, and he gets the armor upgrade. He goes from the Mark 5 to the Mark 6, and they you know, he gets the zoom ability on his visor. So there is this advancement. There is this whole, you know, we're not just, you know, leaving you in, you know, the same pair of underwear that you had 3 years ago. They give him new long johns, and they're fancier than the old ones.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh.
Are you good?
I think I'm good. Sorry,
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
You pulled a caboose.
I did. I'm having Hazel moments every 5 seconds. Wait.
Those are like
But-
blonde moments, but worse.
I was talking for like 10 minutes. I was like, is no one listening to me?
Answer is yes. No one is listening.
Okay. Well, continue.
Yes. I know we were planning on talking about the Halo storyline, and we may have to shelf that for a future episode since we're running out of time. But before we wrap up, there was a little bit of Marvel news that we wanted to talk about.
Yes. Hello, Deadpool. Welcome to the world again. But
I can't wait.
I'm actually very excited. I think Ryan Reynolds is perfect for the role.
Who isn't excited about Deadpool? I think he's like the favorite character right now among people.
Yeah, over Spider-Man because of the video game that they released.
Yes, and another big thing, now that you mentioned Spider-Man, Sony is apparently leasing Spider-Man to Marvel. And Marvel is going to redo the Spider-Man series, but not as an origin story, but they're going to just be, he's already Spider-Man, and just, because they want to move away from the whole Spider-Man love interest stuff, where all the other two movie things have revolved around.
Oh, that's interesting. My understanding, though, is it's going to be kind of a shared canon, and that Sony actually gets their own little Spidey movies, but those are technically going to be part of the extended universe.
Really?
Everything and anything.
It's going to be the
part of
same actor.
Universe.
It's going to be the same actor, and they're going to lease him out to the Avengers universe, but they're also going to make their own movies off to the side.
Right. I think they're getting rid of Andrew Garfield, to be quite honest.
They are. They've canned him, and they've canned the director, and they're just going to start over with someone fresh, although I wish they'd use Tobey Maguire. I mean, he was perfect.
A lot of people didn't have... after the second movie, there were a lot of people who weren't on the Tobey Maguire boat anymore.
I keep hearing people tell me how much some other people, not them, didn't like Tobey Maguire.
I didn't care.
But the original Spider-Man was the most lucrative, most successful Spider-Man franchise. The most recent one was nowhere close to it.
Yes, but people...
So where are all these people who didn't like Tobey Maguire?
I would say I enjoyed the latest series more than the Tobey Maguire, but I also didn't have a problem with Tobey Maguire. I still enjoyed those as well.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Tobey, but I think Andrew Garfield held the more essence of who Spider-Man was. I feel like he had like the dorky, nerdy part of Peter, but he also had the sass. And the sass for me is what's so important, because like, I mean,
the witty one-liners and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because
Tobey Maguire was more awkward.
Yeah, he had
Tobey
the awkward
Maguire
side where he was misunderstood, and Spider-Man, after all, is an analogy for being a teenager and going through puberty in the first place.
Right.
So if we could get someone who can combine those two qualities, that'd be great.
Yeah. I've heard that, I don't know, this might be just a rumor, that they might be going with Dylan O'Brien. You guys probably don't know who that is. He's kind of an uprising star right now. He was in the new movie The Maze Runner, and he's in Teen Wolf. And he has that like dorkable kind of thing that Peter Parker has, but he also has this quick wit and the goofiness about him.
I want you to never use that word again.
Dorkable? Shut up. I was trying to find a word. Shut up.
We are coining new words today. We've coined several, actually.
We're not coining that one. That one's going away.
That one's going away along with Hazel.
That was dying before it was born.
Good lord.
What? Hazel's never died.
Hazel?
Don't hazel it.
Don't haze me, bro.
Don't haze me, bro.
Don't hazel me, bro.
Okay. So I think we're about done here.
I'm good.
Tomorrow,
I wanted to talk about Deadpool more. What was this Spider-Man thing?
Well, for those who don't know, there was test footage of Deadpool, and it was amazing, but everyone was afraid to show it to anybody. And then it got leaked, and all of a sudden, well, I think they fired the guy who leaked it. They went, oh, I guess people like this, and all of a sudden they're making it.
And Ryan Reynolds tweeted a picture of his mask.
And it's awesome.
It is awesome, and I think it's very important that they do make this movie, because the only silver screen appearance of Deadpool that I can think of was in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and while Ryan Reynolds did an excellent job as Wade Wilson before he became Deadpool, what the studio decided to make Deadpool out to be in that movie was horrifyingly inaccurate.
I have no idea what that was.
Yeah, some weapon or something.
I believe it was Baraka.
It was weird. But...
Well, we'll just pretend that movie didn't happen for the most part.
I like
Wolverine getting in touch with his feelings. What? Tomorrow I'm going to Let's Play Live.
Have fun.
Woo!
Everyone can hate me. But
yeah,
next
I'm
week,
bitter about that, so we're not talking for a week.
You're right. We probably won't be until the next podcast.
Shut up. So don't need to know that.
We will
try to telepathically explode your head.
He called your bluff.
It's not working.
I'm going to give you fungus. Oh, no, that sounded weird. Don't use that.
Yeah, no.
Don't use that.
I usually cut most of what you say out anyway.
Okay.
Oh, fight.
But I'm not going to cut that out.
Burned, dude. You got burned. Burned.
Anyway, next week we'll talk about my experiences at Let's Play Live. We'll have Matt317 on to talk about it because he's going with me. Mandate, bro. And it'll be awesome. Everyone say bye. Caboose, say bye.
Bye, everybody.
Let's find out.
I'm feeling so lucky right now.